April 18th, 1955, 1:15 a.m. Princeton Hospital. A man died. He was 76. An abdominal aortic aneurysm had ruptured. Doctors recommended surgery. He refused. "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go." Right before he died, he said something. A few words in German. The night nurse beside him, Alberta Rozsel, didn't speak German. She couldn't understand what he said. The last words of the greatest mind in human history were lost. Just like that. Albert Einstein. Almost everyone knows the name, but few know about his last day, and fewer still know what happened after. Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. He was slow to speak as a child. His school grades weren't bad, but they weren't remarkable either. His teachers didn't think he was special. No one knew he was a genius. 1905, he was 26, a low-level clerk at the Swiss Patent Office. That year, he published 4 papers: special relativity, the photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, mass energy equivalence, E equals mc squared. Any one of those papers could have won a Nobel Prize. He published 4 in 1 year. The history of physics split in 2. After that, Einstein became a legend. General relativity. The idea that gravity isn't a force, but a curvature of space-time. The 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics, the world knew his face. The image of a genius with wild white hair became an icon of the 20th century. But in his later years, Einstein was lonely. He left Germany in 1933, when the Nazis came to power. Settled in Princeton, New Jersey. Worked at the Institute for Advanced Study. He never accepted quantum mechanics. God does not play dice, he insisted. The mainstream of physics moved toward quantum mechanics. Einstein became increasingly isolated. Every day he walked from 112 Mercer Street to the Institute. No socks, a rumpled sweater. People greeted him on the street and he nodded, but he spent most of his time alone. Then, April 1955, his abdominal aortic aneurysm ruptured. He was taken to Princeton Hospital. A doctor recommended surgery. Einstein refused. He called his son Hans. Friends came to visit. Even in bed, he was writing equations for his unified field theory, trying to solve an unsolvable problem, until the very end. Early morning, April 18th. Nurse Alberta Rozsel was on duty. Einstein said something in German. She didn't understand. Moments later, he stopped breathing. Imagine being in her place. You just heard the last words of the greatest genius in history, and you don't know what they mean. She must have carried that weight for the rest of her life, but the story doesn't end there. This is where it gets strange. Hours after Einstein died, Thomas Harvey, a pathologist at Princeton Hospital, performed the autopsy. He removed Einstein's brain. Without permission, the family had not consented. Einstein himself had requested cremation in his will. He never asked for his brain to be preserved. Harvey took it, preserved it in formaldehyde, cut it into 240 pieces and made slide specimens. Harvey claimed it was for science, but he didn't hand the brain to an academic institution. He took it himself, in glass jars, kept in his office. Harvey was later fired from Princeton Hospital. His wife divorced him. He moved to Kansas. The brain went with him, split between 2 cider jars, inside a cardboard box, riding in the trunk of his car across America for 40 years. In the 1990s, a few neuroscientists obtained pieces from Harvey and studied them. The results were interesting, but not conclusive. The parietal lobe was 15% wider than average. The Sylvian fissure had an unusual shape. The ratio of glial cells was high, but whether these were the cause or the result of genius couldn't be determined. In 1998, Harvey returned the brain to Princeton Hospital, 43 years after Einstein's death. Harvey died in 2007. Two questions remain. 1. What were Einstein's last words? If someone who spoke German had been beside him, we would know. The last thought of the brain that created E=mc². Was it about the unified field theory? About his family? Or did he, like Steve Jobs, see something at the edge of death? We'll never know. 2. Can you understand a genius by opening their brain? Harvey believed so. He spent 40 years on it. But we already know that brain structure alone can't explain consciousness. Even if Einstein's brain was physically different, that doesn't explain why it produced the theory of relativity. Einstein once said, "I am not the least afraid to die, and when refusing surgery, I have done my share. It is time to go." He wasn't afraid, and at the very end he said something. What it was, we don't know, can't know. The last thought of the greatest intellect in human history was erased by the most human limitation of all, a language barrier. Maybe that's the most Einstein-like ending possible. The man who understood the laws of the universe, his final words went ununderstood. Next time, another genius. But this one's ending wasn't peaceful. AC electricity, radio, remote control. The man who invented half of modern civilization died alone in a New York hotel room, feeding pigeons. Nikola Tesla. The world gave him nothing back.